Adding content to Google Sites is a fairly simple process, and it uses drag and drop principles. So if I come down here and I click on Insert on my editing pages here, it'll give me all of the options of things that I can add. Let's go over a couple of common things to add to your website. Probably the most common thing to add to your website is a text box. Click on Text Box to add a text box to your website. From this point, you can change the size of the text. You can change bold, italics, and then where it's located in the website. You can add bullets and numbers. You can make your text linkable. So if I wanted to link it outside of, almost like a button, outside of my website or to any page within my website, I can do that here. Or if you have copy and pasted from another website onto your website, this clear formatting will remove any hyperlinks, any odd text fonts, or anything like that from your text. The delete trash can deletes, and then under more editing options is your strike through if you wanted to have something crossed out, and you can actually add coding font in there as well. Now, once you have edited your text to say something that you want it to say, the next thing you need to do, or you'll be able to do, is move. As I said earlier, it's drag and drop. So to move things around, I hover over the element, which is my text box here, and then I will see two different spots that I can click and drag to move my element around. If I grab the middle one, I can move it up, down. I can put it up in under my heading on my home page here. I can bring it down onto my page. And the more elements you have, the more options you have for how you move your text around. Now you can see also there are some grid lines here, which I'm also allowed to move it left or right on my page to help with utilizing more and more of your white space. Next, we're going to talk about adding images to your page. There are a few different ways, but probably the easiest way is to just click on this image button and then select either upload, which will allow you to pull it off from your desktop, or select, which will allow you to grab it out of the Google icon search or even your own Google Drive here. So if I wanted to pull an image out of my Google Drive or my Google Photos, I could do that as well. I'm going to pull an image from Google Search, and I want an image that says Google. I search Google. Here are my options, some of the options that pop up under the Google search. I like this one, so I click on it one time, and you see this blue bar come up. Click Insert. Now that image has been added to my website. These blue dots allow you to edit the size and shape of your image. You have cropping features, or if, let's say I make this really small, now you can't see the Google, but if I click that uncrop, what it'll do is it'll make it fit into the space that I have made. So that's a really useful tool for making the image how you want it. Images can be used as links. Think of a link like a button. So if I click on this insert link, I can link it to any page within my page. Or if I type in a URL like www.google.com and click apply, now when my user clicks on this image that I put on here, it will send them out to google.com. You've got your delete image, and then the next option over is gives you more editing options. A really important one in here for you is this add alt text. If you want to make your website more ADA compliant, more user friendly for either students, parents, anybody who visits your website who might be using a text-to-speech software, just click on that add alt text. After you click on add alt text, what you're going to be able to do is type in something that the screen reader will read when it comes across that. So some people use a tool called a screen reader that will read everything on their screen. As they come across images, if you do not put alt text on, it'll skip it. This is really difficult for people who are visually impaired. So by adding an alt text that says something like image of Google linked to google.com, and then clicking apply, you're telling the system when it comes across it what to say to the person who's using the screen reader. So then it'll come up to this icon and it'll say image of Google linked to google.com. Once you're done editing your image how you want it, they can be moved around just like any other element in Google Sites. I can move it up and down here. It's the only icon, it's the only thing I have on here, so right now it's just got a couple of ways I can move it, but if I want to put it here, I can move it there. If I click and drag to move it left or right, I can put it anywhere I want on my page. If I wanted to add text under my image, I could put my text box under it, and then I could adjust the text box to fit into that space by just dragging the text box directly under it, and you see the blue highlight underneath when I drop my text box. Now the text box and the icon are linked, so that when I type in go to Google, it's linked right to it. Adding videos. Next, we're going to talk about adding videos to your website. To add a video to your website, there are a few different options. You can add a video from youtube.com by coming down here to YouTube, clicking on it, and then pulling that YouTube URL and just pasting it in here. You could also just search for a video. So maybe I want a video on Google. I type in Google and hit enter, and it's going to search YouTube for all the videos that pop up when I type in Google. So maybe I want to do this Google cancels all April Fool's jokes, and click select. Now it drops the YouTube video in, and I have a few different options under the settings here. Under settings, you can change the color of the progress bar. You can make it so that the controls are hidden and then appear when you hover over them, or you can say whether or not you want them to be able to make the video full screen. To delete a video off, it's the same thing. You just click this delete title, or delete image, video, sorry. Another way to add videos, which is a little more secure, especially this is a very useful way to add videos if you don't want your videos to be posted to YouTube. All you need to do is drag your video into your Google Drive, and then once it's uploaded into Google Drive, click on Google Drive, and then find your video in your Google Drive. So I put a couple videos for this example in under meeting recordings here. And I can click on this meeting recording video, double click on it, it drops it in. And now this video is not linked to YouTube, it's only on this website. So that's a useful way to put videos on a website without making them YouTube videos. Adding a button to your Google site can be done very easily. A button is just added by finding button under insert, clicking button, typing in what you want your button to be called. So this will be Google website, and then putting a link in. You could link it to another page on your website, or you could link it to any other website you want. So for this example, we have another website here that I'm going to link it to called k12eta.org. So I'm going to highlight the URL at the top, right click, and click copy. I'm going to go back to my Google Sites where it says link, right click, and click paste. Now when I click insert, I've got a button here that's called Google website, and it's linked to the K12ETA Association website. There are 3 button options: filled, outlined, or just plain text. You can choose one of those. The best way to decide is to go into the preview mode, look at how you like it. If it looks the way you want it to do, just add it in that way. To edit a button once you've added on, you can single click it and click this little edit button, or another easy way to do is double click on the button and it opens the edit button options. Buttons can be made longer and can be dragged around on your website just like any other element. Google Calendars can be added to a website. This is a really handy feature. If I wanted to add my Google Calendar onto this website, all I would need to do is click on this calendar icon, and it's going to show me all the calendars that I have access to. Once I find the one I want to add, I single click it. So let's say I want to add a calendar from my Google Classroom, and this is my Google Classroom. I single click it and click insert. What it'll do is it'll add the calendar, and you can pick how you want that calendar to be displayed by clicking on the settings. Now you can pick how it's shown in week mode or in month mode. Just a great way to add a calendar so that people know what's going on. Other things that can be added are maps. If you wanted to add a map, Google Docs can be embedded right in by clicking on Docs. It'll bring up your Google Drive. You pick the doc from your Google Drive that you want to add, and it just drops it right in there for you. Really, really handy for a lot of different uses here, because now that my document is added, if I go into preview mode, and this is what it would look like on a cell phone. There's that document, and if the user clicks on it, and I have this document shared to the public, which I don't know that I do. Oh, I do. Okay, good. Then it'll open it so that they can see it, they can print it, and depending on what permissions you have, they could even make a copy of it and edit that copy. So leaving preview mode, that's adding a Google Doc. Again, they can be moved around, resized, reshaped, just like every other item. You can do the same thing with slides, sheets, Google Forms. This is a great way to put a survey on a website for people, and even charts. So if you have some graphs and charts and stuff made on a Google Sheet to show data, you can actually put your data right on your website. And if you do it using the charts piece, the charts component, that data will change when you change your Google Sheet. So thinking about linking a Google form to a Google Sheet, then in that Google Sheet, putting in a chart and adding that chart to your website. Now, as people fill out the Google form, the Google Sheet updates and the chart updates on the website so that people in real time can see what's happening. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it's provided you with some tools and some strategies for building your own websites on Google Sites. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe to catch more videos on using Google Apps for education.